All right, ladies and gents, welcome. Here is trimester 2, and here is unit 3. And I'm going to record it because I feel like the quality is better and you don't have to get distracted by all the students. We will meet for Zoom later. However, this is my way of explaining it in a calmer fashion where, like I said, you're allowed to pause and review it. Hopefully this helps. Feedback is always appreciated. Your challenge questions. We will go over these answers later on. Please, if you are in my remote class, please fill this out in your Google Classroom. There's a form that you'll fill out for these questions. All right, so for an example, so today we are going to learn about multiplying fractions, okay? So for an example, what is half of 10? Well, half of 10 is so easy. Everyone knows what half of 10 is. Here's 10. If I only look at half of it, you know what the answer is. But the idea here is not that you know what the answer is. The idea is how you know how to get to the answer. So we're going to use this easy example of half of 10 to figure out the answer. Now, Mr. Stahl, you just said that we're going to multiply fractions. You're telling me half of 10, that's not multiplying. Oh, no. Of means multiply. With fractions, when you're taking a percentage or a fraction of something, that means multiply. Of means multiply. Let me say it again. Of means multiply. Let me say it again. Of means multiply. Let me say it one more time. Of means multiply. 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 Okay, let's move on. So how do you multiply numbers? Let me show you how you multiply numbers. I'll give you that example. Half of 10. Well, the first thing that you do is you now get to write it horizontally. So your brain knows, oh, we're multiplying. We're not adding or subtracting. So let's look at that example of half of 10. Of means multiply. So half times 10. Now, second thing that you do, make both amounts fractions. Well, half is already a fraction, but now we got to figure out how to make 10 a fraction. What's 10's name? Well, it's 10 wholes. Oh, I got its name. 10 wholes. So I just put a 1 under it. It's still equal to 10. That's easy. Oh, yeah. Multiplying fractions is easy. Because now all you do, ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, I got to find a common denominator. Oh, wait. Oh, we're going horizontally? Oh, wait, I don't have to find a common denominator? No, you don't, ladies and gentlemen. All you do is literally multiply numerators, multiply denominators, and that's all, folks. That's all you do. So number 3 is quite literally, come on, just multiply across. That's all you're doing. 1 times 10 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2. And that is your answer, 10 halves. Oh, it's almost your answer. We can't accept 10 halves because you got more than a whole there. And whenever you have more than a whole, you got to show me that amount pulled out of there. So how many 2's are in 10? 5. Guess what your answer is? 5. Oh yeah, half of 10 is 5. So when we multiply fractions, that's basically all we're doing. There's a couple more tricks I'm going to teach you as we go on to other lessons, but that is all you have to do. And today, we're going to complete today's lesson from the book. However, you're going to see that I don't necessarily agree with the way that the author teaches you multiplying fractions. So let's jump right into today's lesson, shall we? So today's lesson, hold on, let me get rid of this. All right, we're on page 83. Okay, we're on page 83. So a path around a large park is 8 kilometers long. He ran around that path 4 times. So that's an example of multiplying whole numbers, no fractions. So the way that we would do that is 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, 8 times 4 is 32, or 8 4 times is 32. Either way, number 1 you should fill out as 32 kilometers, 32 kilometers. Let's look at number 2, Kento. ran around that exact same path, but he did not make it around that many times. He only made it around 1/4 of a time. Are we still multiplying? Yes, because of means multiply, of means multiply, of means multiply. So 8 times 1/4 is, so remember, all right, let me just write it up here on the board. It'll be easier and faster. 8 1/4 times is 8 of a fourth, or a fourth of 8. Now, in multiplication, the order does not matter. Therefore, you still have to follow the same steps. 8 is a whole number, but, oh, we wrote it sideways. Oh, yeah, I have to make both fractions. 8 over 1, 8 over 1. 8 times 1 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. And it doesn't matter which one you put first because it's a commutative property. It doesn't matter the order. And then you get 8/4. Now you got to figure out what 8/4 is. Well, how many fourths make a whole? 4. How many 4s are in 8? 2. So your answer is 2 there. Okay? So if the path was 8 kilometers long and he only went a fourth before he gave up, he went 2 kilometers. Markers come in a box of 6. Alta has 3 of those boxes. So therefore, how many markers does she have? Well, 6 times 3 is 6, 12, 18. So therefore, there's 18 markers. So write down 18 for number 3 in both areas, please. Isabel had 1/3 of a box of 6 markers. So she did have that same box, but she only had 1/3. Now that's a jip. She needs to go get her money back, right? So we need 1/3 of 6. That answer is 6/3, right? And 6/3 is equal to 2. So therefore, she has 2 markers. She has 2 markers. Complete each equation chain link in the one shown. Okay, so they want you, so the author wants you to turn it into like a division problem. I am not worried about that, okay? I think you need to understand how to find these answers, and turning it into division, even though it makes sense, is confusing, right? Because let me just explain it like this. The division works, but it only works when the fraction has a 1 on top. We don't need to know that, right? We need to know something that always works. And the way that it always works is turn it into multiplication. Of means multiplication, of means multiplication, of means multiplication. So instead of worrying about those examples, let's figure out the answer. 1/3 of 9. So the first thing that we're going to do is turn it 1/3 of means multiply, and then take your 9 and turn it into 9 wholes, or 9 over 1. And then multiply across, you get 9/3. And then turn it into a mixed number. Well, this mixed number doesn't have a fraction left over because 3, 6, 9. 3/3, 3/3, 3/3, 9/3. So it turns into 3 wholes, right? So that answer is 3 wholes. Let's go to number 6. 1/7 of 21. Well, 1/7 of 21 is, well, let's write 1/7. Let's turn of into multiply. And then 21 is a fraction. So it's 21 over 1 whole. And that answer is 21/7. And 21/7 is 3 wholes. So that answer is 3 wholes. 1/5 of 30. 1/5 of 30. Same thing. Well, you know what? Pause it. Try to come up with this answer. If you can come up with it on your own, you're doing phenomenal. So pause it, come up with the answer. Did you come up with 1/5 times 30 over 1, multiply across, you get 30/5? And then 30/5 is, well, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Perfectly 6 comes out of it, so your answer is 6 wholes. So let's kind of look at this. One of these is not the same as the other. And it's, to me, it's clear because all of them are worth more than a whole except for one very obvious one, right? 1/6 times 24 is over 1. It's 24/6. 6, 12, 18, 24. So this answer is 24/6, which is 4, which that means this is 4 because 6, 12, 18, 24. That means this is 4, 6, 12, 18, 24. That means this is nowhere near 4. No. And then 1/6 of 24 is, oops, when you multiply across, you get 24/6, which once again, your answer is 4. So all of them are equal to 4 except for this one. All right, we're not going to draw comparison bars. Instead, let's just answer these questions. Blank makes 4 times as many quarts as blank. So let me look at number 10 because I did not do a wonderful job with this, with putting this on the PowerPoint. So let's look at it real quick. It says blank makes 4 times as many quarts as blank. Well, Natasha makes 12 quarts and Manuel makes 3 quarts, right? So 3 times 4 is 12. So Manuel has less. So therefore, Natasha makes 4 times as many quarts as Manuel. Okay. So that what we would want to do here somewhere is write that down. N stands for Natasha equals 12, and M stands for Manuel makes 3. So the way that we can write this in an equation is M times 4 equals N, right? M times 4 equals N, or 1/4 of M, no, I'm sorry, 1/4 of N equals M. That's fancy right there. And we could use that to help us with these. So, and if this is confusing to you, that's okay. This is like that next level. In all reality, today's lesson, you just need to understand how to just multiply fractions. If you are understanding that, you are good. So blank makes 4 times as many quarts as blank. We know that answer. We know that Natasha makes 4 times as many quarts as Manuel. Blank made 1/4 as many quarts as blank. Okay, so 1/4 means a smaller amount. That means Manuel made 1/4 as many as Natasha. So write 2 multiplication equations that compare. So N equals, up here, and just put N equals M times 4. Manuel times 4 equals N. And then you could put M equals N times 1/4, or Natasha, just 1/4 of Natasha equals Manuel. Number 13, write a division equation that compares the amounts. Write a division equation that compares the amounts. Okay, so who has more? Natasha. So couldn't you say Natasha divided by blank, so we don't know blank yet, equals Manuel? Well, think about it like this. Don't write this part, but let me just show you. Natasha equals 12. What are you going to divide that by to equal 3? Well, how many 3s are in 12? 3, 6, 9, 12, 4. So that answer would be 4. So this is what you want to write. N divided by 4 equals N. And once again, if this page was confusing for you, it's okay. Don't stress out about it. Draw a comparison bars to compare. So what the comparison bars are, this part right here, okay? When they're making comparison bars like this, I'm not too worried about the comparison bars. So you don't have to worry about the comparison bars. What we're talking about now is in the gym, 8 girls are standing in one line, 4 are standing in the other. So what they want you to look at, they want you to see that there's 8 girls and 4 boys. So they want you to say boys. And then they want you just to know that you would compare the girls by making a groups of 4 so it's easier to see. I'm not worried if you don't know how to do that. Today's lesson, you need to know how to multiply fractions. Okay. So that's your comparison bars. Write two multiplication equations that compare the girls to the boys. Okay, so, well, girls, let's do the easy one first, boys. So that would find the girls. Boys times 2 equals girls. So B times 2 equals G, or G equals B times 2, right? Because we're just using a letter to, so G equals B times 2. And then the girls, it's a little trickier because we have to work with fractions, but wouldn't this be half? Wouldn't that be half? So B equals half of G. And remember, now that you're a big boy, big girl multiplication, you can just make a dot. So instead of the X, make a dot. Why? Because we're going to start using letters. See how I'm using letters to represent these things? Girls, no, I'm not going to write girls. Let's put a G. Well, X is a letter, so it gets confusing. That's why we moved to just that dot for multiplication. All right, and then write a division equation that compares the number of boys to the number of girls. So there I would say, start with the easy big number, right? So 8 divided by 4. Sorry, not 8 divided by 4. We want to find 4. So girls divided by 2 equals boys. G divided by 2 equals boys. That's what I would put for number 16. G divided by 2 equals B. All right. A collection of coins contains 20 pennies and 4 nickels. Write two multiplication equations and a division equation that compares pennies and nickels. Okay, so let's go like this. Let's say N, that's nickels, times something equals pennies. Sorry, that didn't help at all, did it? It's really hard to write with a mouse. I thought I'd get better at it, but I'm not. So that's a beautiful N that kind of looks like an H right there. So nickels is, there's 20 pennies. So N times, so 4 times what is 20? Well, 5. So it'd be N times 5 equals P. The other way we could do it is P times something equals N. Well, if pennies is 20 and we're going to get to 4, it's going to be a fraction. And since that was 5, this is 1/5. Once again, don't stress it. We don't get this. I'm not worried about it. It's nice for the students that are getting it. You get a bigger picture of it all, but don't stress. And then the division is there's 20 divided by what equals 4? 5 divided by 5. So pennies divided by 5 equals nickels. Ooh, I should have stuck to my board. A 5th grade class is made up of 12 boys and 24 girls. How many times as many girls are boys? So G times, and I'm going to go X here just for old time's sake. G times what equals boys? Well, remember, G is 24. So how are you going to go from 24 times something equals 12? Well, for those students that are really getting it, you already knew that answer was half. So your answer is half. There's half. How many times as many girls as boys are in the class? See, that wording is disgusting. So I would take 2 here too. How many times as many girls? So 2 times as many girls are boys, right? So two times as many girls. No, half of the girls is boys. See what I mean about not loving the author's way to work this? Half of the girls are boys, and boys times 2 equals girls. Write either of those and you're good. Fred has 24 model cars. Scott has a 6th as many as Fred. So how many does Scott have? Oh, we could do this one. We need to find 1/6 of 24. And 1/6 of 24 is 24/6. And what is 24/6? 6, 12, 18, 24. 24 of 6 is 4. So Scott has 4. All right, that's all I'm going to do that's all I'm going to work on right now. If we have time, which we will have time. I'll meet you on Zoom to work on page 86. All right, I will meet you on Zoom to work on page 86. Thank you, guys.